Hello, and welcome to Amplify with Purpose, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of what it means to live, work, and lead with intention, impact, and purpose. I'm your host, Odette de Beer, and together we'll explore the realms of personal development, leadership, customer experience, business growth, and all things life through the lens of purposeful living and conscious leadership. Each episode, we invite thought leaders, innovators, change makers to share their insights, experiences, and wisdom on how to navigate the complexities of the modern world while staying true to their values and mission. From actionable strategies to profound philosophies, our conversations are designed to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to amplify every area of your life. So, whether you're a business executive, a specialist, a consultant, or someone passionate about making a difference in your community and beyond, Amplify with Purpose is your go-to resource for guidance, inspiration, and tools you need to live a life of purpose, resilience, and impact. Today on the show, I have the absolute pleasure once again to welcome back our regular guest, Christo Pretorius. Christo Pretorius is also fondly known as the Expansioner. He is a leadership thought leader. He's a leadership coach, and he builds and expands individuals. Christo, welcome back to the show.
I did. Thank you very much. It's always a great privilege to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. And we're looking forward to a great time once again today.
What are we talking about today? We are talking about building a formidable mindset, or better known as laying the foundations for a resilient mindset. Because who knows that when it comes to life, business, family, kids, you need a resilient mindset in order to succeed. So, Christo, can you share with us your personal definition of a resilient mindset and why it's important in both personal and professional growth?
Yes, I did. For me, it really, it's defined as a well-established belief system. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe in general? I think that for me just solidifies it. Because if you don't believe in yourself, how will other people believe in you? And so in order to form that mindset, I think it stems down from, first of all, a belief system. And that belief system then creates the mindset that is necessary for overcoming tremendous odds within this life that we are facing.
Absolutely. So when it comes to a belief system, it's quite important that we clarify that it's not your religion. It's the things that you believe to be true about life, about people. And it's got to be the things that you believe, not the things that you were taught to believe. What I mean by that is sometimes we believe things because our parents saw it a certain way or our parents did things a certain way, and that led us to believe things. So we adopted that belief. And sometimes we get to a later part in our lives where we realize actually that's not how it should be. That's not the reality. For example, when I was much younger, I was telling my daughter the story how I used to walk with my head looking down. I was too shy to speak. I never wanted to show my face to people, and I never wanted to speak. And that meant that I was told that I'm introverted and I therefore can't do public speaking. I can't do what I do, and you can't lead people because quiet people can't lead people. Isn't that true? No, it's
Yep.
not. Here we are. We are on a podcast. This is my podcast, one of my favorite things I'm doing. And I speak in front of hundreds of people with no problem. Yes, of course, I get nervous and those things, but that doesn't matter. I managed the process of identifying the
Yep.
lie, as Craig Groeschel would put it. And I replaced it with the truth. And the truth is you can be whatever you want to be. Christo, how do you define clarity in the context of mindset development? And why is that foundational to building a resilient mindset?
Yeah, it comes down to that word is to define what you want to achieve, what you want to establish within life. Like you said, it's not so much about religion and those type of things, although that plays support. But I've seen people's belief system that then forms a mindset is the way that they were brought up. So what happened in the past, what they're currently facing, and also, what they're thinking of concerning the future. So you need to define what is it that you want to do, what it is that you want to achieve. Like you said earlier, you wanted to be a leader, but people said because you're quite introverted, you can't lead. And so if you want to be a leader and that's like what you want to do, that will give you clarity on what are the things that you got to work on moving forward. Every building has plans that has been drawn up by an architect because I spoke to the owner. And so for me, that's the way I look at mines is what is the thing that I want to achieve? And then I draft this plan that I can then follow the steps to bring it to fulfillment. Yeah, maybe I look at it a little bit different than other people. For me, it's not like you have just one mindset and that's just it. There are certain things in certain areas that I'm much stronger in when it comes to mindset and belief system than other areas. And it's purely because I have experience or more experience in the one area, or I've got more victories in the one area. Therefore, my confidence when we speak about certain things are high, and therefore my mindset is a lot stronger. That's what I've seen over the years in my personal life. You know, some friends and people will say very strong in that area. And then I look at that and I'm thinking, okay, personally, I would not rate that as like one of my strengths, purely just because of my own life and things that I'm going through. Yet when people look at you, those are the things that maybe stand out. So for me, mindset is really about you got to define what it is you want to achieve. And then you start building to work towards that. I hope it makes sense.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I don't think that I have thought about it in that way, but you're correct. It probably was an unconscious process of thinking, I want to be this thing. What do I need to do to get to that place? And we may not think about these things in terms of such simplicity as it's actually just a
Yeah.
plan. Where do you want to go? What are the steps? And let's get there. And that's exactly what happened. But when you go through the motion of making that decision, you obviously experience life
Yeah.
and they often see it a little bit differently. But for those of you who are perhaps in a position where you want to redefine your mindset, where you want to change things in your mindset, it really is as simple as getting a plan. Where are you? Where do you want to go? And identifying the things that you need to do to address them.
The
So,
reason I say that,
uh,
that I'm
yeah,
sorry to interject there. The reason I say that is for a long time, I've tried to establish like a mindset or a belief system that's like solid and it's like unshakable. And you try to aspire to that, that one day you're going to come to this place where things will just be easy because you've got this mindset and you just know that. But the more I listen to people that are expert in their field and are very strong, especially in the area of mindset, I'm thinking about one person that I follow and over the last maybe 2, 3 years, really been listening to a lot of his content, David Goggins. When many people know David Goggins as one of the toughest people on the planet, that guy just ferocious when it comes to mindset. But when you speak to him, he says the following. He says every morning when he wakes up, he doesn't want to do the things that he needs to do. He says he also goes through the challenge of sitting. He runs a lot. He does ultra marathons and run through the night, 24 hours, those type of things. And he says there are many mornings that he wakes up and he looks at his shoes for half an hour and he doesn't want to do it. But then that mindset and that resilience then kicks in to say, but I have to do this. I'm not sure if it's Alex or Mosey or somebody, they said the following, they said, courage is not the absence of fear, but it's in the presence of fear, you keep going. And so many times, like we think, all right, in order for me not to have courage and be courageous, there should not be any fear or any doubt. And sometimes it's you do it afraid. You just have to do it. And so I think of mindset in something similar that it's not just you're gonna come to the place one day where everything just works and you're not gonna face challenges. No, you're growing on it continuously. And that's why I like to equate it to a belief system, because your belief system is continuously being developed and you work on those things day by day. And you will never be great in every area of your life. Today, you'll be great in marriage, but next month, you'll feel like I got to work on my marriage. But then you're great in business and business is doing well. And then when all of that is working all together, then the kids, they just go haywire and you like get everything just fall together. It's like trying to live a balanced life. I don't think it's possible. You just have to juggle and adjust as you go along. Nothing is just going to be boom. So yeah, I think maybe just to clarify that, that's the way I look at a mindset, and maybe for the listeners, just to help them, it's not so much a place that you reach, but it's more a journey that you're on, and it's constantly developing that.
that's so true, Christo. One of the things I like to do with my clients, for those of you who are listening, I would love for you to just do this little experiment with me. I want you to put your hand in front of your face, about 10 centimeters. Christo, if you would join me, put your hand in front of your face. And I want you to look at your hand and think negative thoughts about turning your hand. Things like, if I turn my hand, I'm going to die. Or I really don't want to turn my hand because it's effort, or whatever. So just continue thinking really bad negative thoughts about turning your hand. Now, I want you to turn your hand. What did you notice?
First of all, there was a pause because my mind was like, don't turn your head because there's things that happen. But then when I ultimately did, nothing happened apart from my hand turning.
And that's how powerful it is to go, okay, yes, I feel these things. Yes, I think these things, but I can still act in spite of the way I feel, in
Yeah.
spite of the way I think. I think you said it when you were doing the 8K runs a day. I'm still not there yet, but you get to a point where you just have to keep going. Your body's, I'm tired. Your brain is saying, I've had enough, but you've got to keep going. And one of the things that our brains do when things get hard is say, oh, you can't anymore. You're in pain. It's a lie because
Yeah.
your brain's job is to keep you safe. So your brain is lying to you. So if you can talk yourself into doing the thing that you want to do or doing the hard thing, then you are successful and you become successful in multiple areas of your life. I had not ran for a really long time and decided in the beginning of the year I'm going back to running because I enjoy it. And I said to you, my husband, I struggle. I can't do the 5Ks. I used to do 5Ks in a jiffy and now I'm struggling. I can't even do one without huffing and puffing. And the other day, I went to gym and I just got on the treadmill. And while I was running, I just kept saying to myself, just do another 500 meters. If you can do another 500 meters, then you can stop. And then I got to the 500 meters and I went, maybe you can do another 500 meters. And I did that until I did a full 5K without stopping.
Wow.
And I jumped off and I was so excited.
Well
I'm so
done.
proud of myself because I spoke myself into it. And that's the power of a formidable mindset, I think. It's not that suddenly your brain is different or whatever. It's that we choose when to back off. And I just chose not to. And
Yeah.
it's the same for our listeners and our viewers who are wanting to change things in their lives. It's just a decision, really.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you're saying there. It's all about a decision. Unfortunately, we believe the lie, what people tell us. I said to somebody the other day that I was speaking to, also sitting down with a client and just did some self discovery, and they discovered some things about themselves and they felt terrible because they're doing things wrong and they should have done it this way. And I said to them, you can either have that type of a mindset or you can tell yourself, I know it wasn't right, but now I know a better way and I'm going to act upon it. And it's like you said, it's that decision. So yes, maybe you had a tough life, or maybe you grew up in a family that didn't push you or challenge you, but now you have the opportunity. Just make that decision. What's going to happen if you turn your hand? You're only going to find out if you turn it. If you don't turn it, you're always going to wonder. And I think a lot of people go through life wondering if they could have made it, if they've done that, and that's where regret comes in. But just make that decision and just do it. Like Nike has got probably one of the best slogans. Just do it and do
What
it
I
your
love
way.
about,
I'd probably add that. Just
yes,
do it your way.
you also posted something. You post lots of interesting things. You posted something from John Maxwell, and I've always lived according to that. And then you posted it, and I listened to it, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So he says he was talking to Coach Wooden, and he said to him, "So what's the difference between the all stars, the athletes that do really well, and those who don't?" And he said, "The difference is that those who do really well know that there's 100% every day that you need to give, and they get up and they give it 100%, and they just don't back down. And the others wake up in the morning, give 50% thinking that they can give 50% tomorrow. But the truth
Yeah.
is, you've only got 100% to give. And when I
Yes.
heard that, I was like, that's it. I don't care what it feels like. I don't care what's going on. I have 100% to give. I can't make
Yeah.
it up tomorrow. What is the 100% I can give today? And sometimes it's 100% to my kids. Sometimes, like today, my kids are sick. So it was 100% of just giving into whatever is going on at the moment. It's all good. And tomorrow will be again 100% for my clients. But it's that decision of waking up
Yeah.
in the morning and going, I'm so tired. And I still have 100% to give. The 100% today may look different to the 100% tomorrow, but it's 100% nonetheless.
Yeah. Like you said, people think they can give 50% today and tomorrow they'll give 50. You don't have 150%. You only have what you have. And I grew up, and you know this, I was very big on sport growing up, and our coach always would say, I expect 110% of you today. And we were like, yes, coach, I'm going to give you my all and more. Uh, and listen, I suppose there's a bit of truth in that, where like you go beyond what you thought was capable. And so, yeah, you give 110 or 150% because you just give so much more of what you thought was capable. But then that becomes your 100%. And that's the new standard that you live by. So listen, I understand the concept behind giving more than what you did today, and giving extra. But what happens is you fall into this trap, exactly what you're saying, that you think today I can get away with giving 50% because I'll make up for it tomorrow. Yeah. Uh,
So good.
Maybe for a day, maybe
Tomorrow.
for a day or for 2 days, but there's going to be repercussions if you give or do something half-hearted for an extended period of time. Because this, I don't want to quote something I don't fully know, and I don't know this, but there's a podcast of Dr. Huberman where he speaks about this aspect of the brain that they've discovered. Maybe we can put it in the link in some of the other podcasts for the people. But it speaks to David Goggins about this. This part of the mind grows only when you do things you don't want to do. The moment you do something you don't want to do, this aspect of the brain actually physically grows. But then when it becomes comfortable and you want to do it and you then do it, it doesn't grow anymore because it only grows when you do things you don't want to do. And when I heard that, it was like, wow, it shows you how quickly stagnation can set into our lives. And I maybe just want to say this also from the outset. I'm not advocating that you push yourself beyond every single day and you've got this invisible goal that you are chasing. I'm not saying that at all. But as you become more focused on minds, whatever you've done yesterday has just become the norm and you want to do better. It's inherently within you. You might not be there yet. You're still building. You still want to discover what is your belief system? What do you want it to be? And it's all good. Go for that. You don't have to run 8 kilometers every day. You don't have to do cold plunges every day. I'm not advocating that anybody does anything that I'm doing. That's what I have to do to grow me. But I've realized this now, and science is backing it, is that how quickly stagnation kicks when we just even take one day a break. So yeah, I suppose the thing I want to maybe want to get across here is how important it is when you are tired, when you don't feel you want to do it. It's even more important to ensure what you put into your mind, what your eyes are seeing, what you are saying in those times when you are tired, because you have the possibility of speaking death into your life if you react in those tough or negative situations.
Absolutely. And so it's interesting that you mentioned that because so obviously I get up early in the morning. Maybe it's not so obvious for everyone else, but I get up long before the sun is up for various reasons. And then so when I decided I was going to go to gym, initially I went to gym after I dropped the kids off at school, which is just chaos. I actually don't enjoy that at all. That's a horrible way to continue on in your day. So that didn't work. And I figured, okay, So what I'll do is in the mornings, I'll get up, I'll pray, then later we pray together as a family. And then after that, I'll go to gym before I take the kids to school. And some nights I just can't sleep because I'm thinking about a new client or I've got these brilliant ideas. And when you're ideating in the middle of the night and then you pick up your phone, which is probably the worst thing to do, but I have to
Yeah.
put the notes down. So I make notes of all these brilliant ideas that I've had and then I can't sleep. So then tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up, if I eventually fall asleep, tired. And that was something, again, it's something that I teach my clients is that integrity is doing what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it. And when I got the realization of that for myself, it changed my life because now I know if I said I'm going to go to gym, I have to go to gym. But the question is, how do I work around the fact that I'm tired? How do I work around the fact that I have all of these excuses and they are legit excuses? The kids were up 5 times. The dog was barking. It was too hot. I couldn't sleep. I had these brilliant ideas. I couldn't sleep. These are all legit excuses. These are really good excuses. And I decided I will motivate myself. Now you're going, what? Superpower? No, self influence. So what I do is I get my shoes ready, my running shoes. I put it in the bathroom. I take my whole gym outfit and I put it in the bathroom. And when I wake up, the first thing I do is I get dressed into my gym outfit because now I'm dressed. Now I
Yeah.
have to go. Then I go and do everything else that I'm supposed to do. And on the days that you feel like you don't want to go, having done those things, preempting the fact that you potentially won't feel like doing it, you influence yourself into doing it. Because when you get to gym and you've run a K or you've done 5 push-ups or whatever you do at gym, I don't know, you feel better. And then you're like, oh, it's not that bad. I can continue. But it's about finding strategies that works for you that gets you over that initial thought of, I just don't feel like it, or this is hard. Because once you just get, if you can just get past that part where your brain says it's hard, I'm tired, I don't want to do it, and you do it, then suddenly like life changes. Also, by the way, that means that you start attracting people who live in integrity because you attract what you resonate with. And when you are in integrity, you will attract people who are in integrity and no longer will you have things like people not showing up for meetings or not doing what they said they would do because that's just the way life works. Yes, that's my thoughts.
I really like that. So, question I want to ask you is what would be the reason for you to put your gym outfit in your shoes already the previous day in the bathroom? Can't you just have it in your cupboard and when you wake up, take it out of your cupboard? What would be the reason to put it in the bathroom?
Because then it's in my face. It's easy to walk past the cupboard and go, I'll be just now. I've got other things to do. I need to go make coffee so I can wake up, drink my vitamins. Me, we have a dog, so I can't put it in the bedroom because our dog is still a puppy and he likes to chew
All right.
things.
Yeah.
And turns out shoes are great to chew. But if it's somewhere, the first thing I see is that it doesn't matter how I feel. I see that. Now it's in my face. Now I
Right.
have to make the decision. Do I ignore the thing that's in my face or do I lean into what's in my face regardless of how I feel? So for me, it's leaning into the thing that is uncomfortable. And don't get me wrong. There are still moments while I'm already dressed that I'm
Yeah.
sitting there going, I don't actually feel like going to gym. And then I get up and go to gym because I can do things despite the way that I feel. And these are things that I decided I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be in integrity and if I'm going to expect my clients to be in integrity, if I'm going to expect my children to walk in integrity, then I must first be in integrity because I honestly believe you have to walk the talk.
Yeah.
You cannot tell people to do stuff if you're not willing to do it yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to maybe just go one or two levels deeper here. You said something quite interesting as the reason you do that is so that you can lean in into the thing that you need to do. What other things, when it comes to mindset or even creating habits, or like you have certain routines like getting up early, pray, time with the family, kids to school, go to the gym. Now you put your clothes out the night before so that you can lean into the thing that you need to do. What other things which you say is important for you that you have that's leaning in to doing some of those things?
I I set up everything I don't want to do before I have to do it. because it's hard doing the things you don't want to do. I'm not
Yeah.
pretending it's easy. It's not. But because I know it's hard, I focus on those things and I set them up. So, for example, a bajillion years ago, no, I'm not a bajillion years old, although I feel like it, but a bajillion years ago, I listened to a book, Millionaire Mindset. There are multiple ones. I'll find the right one and put the link in the chat. But the thing that stood out for me in that book was that people don't recognize their trends and their seasons. So this book was a financial book, but I see things not just in a box. I see where it all fits in, which is why I do what I do. And I realized that I had patterns and seasons in my life that if they continue, I would not be where I want to be and I would not be the person that I want to be. So I have to choose to change that pattern. Things like,
Okay.
so tithing is not an issue, but initially tithing was hard to do. So how do you do it? It's simple. You put up a scheduled payment. The first thing when your salary comes in, the scheduled payment goes off and it's done. Now I don't
Yeah.
have to think about it. I don't have to feel any specific way about it because it's done. I want to do it and now it's done. Now I can't talk myself out of it. When I wake up in the morning, I know that I'm going to so for me to start my day well, I need silence. And by that, I don't need to see my husband or my kids. I need you guys to just go away. It needs to be quiet so that I can have my time with God, so that I can have my coffee. And when I'm awake and I've spoken to God, then I will speak to you. Then we can have a good conversation. And I would then set up the morning like that. So I will get up long before the family is awake so that they don't
Okay.
irritate me and then irritate my day. Or the day before I set up coffee. Or when it comes to school lunches, I listen to mom saying that school lunches is chaos and they never know what to do. So they quickly run into Woody's and get something before school. I don't want to do that because then I'm probably going to make poor choices. So we do lunches on a Sunday. The things that you want to do, the Bible says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So identify those things where the flesh is weak and just
Yeah.
dupe yourself into it. Find strategies that works for you. And if packing lunch on a Sunday is not your vibe, don't. But that's what helps me figure out what I need to do for the week. Then I have a structured week and I do everything that I intend to do as opposed to getting to Friday and going, I intended to do all of these things, but I didn't because my intention was not backed by action that knows my tendencies and my seasons and my trends.
Wow. I like that. I really like that. And maybe this is not maybe, this is definitely for somebody out there to help you, where you said you set up the things that you don't want to do in advance, because then it's easy to do it because it's already set up. It's in your face. Just find the things that you need to lean into to get those things done. And like I did say, just create some of the strategies. And here's a simple example. So 2023, I decided I'm only going to drink water, no juice, no milk, no cold drinks. Only going to drink water, filtered water, and I'll have black coffee, no milk, no sugar. So for the whole year, that's what I did. Drank over 650 liters of water. I got myself 1.5 liter container and just filled it up. And I would drink 1.5 or maybe 2 of them in a day. And I did that every day. I had a Excel spreadsheet, and every day, end of the day, I would put in my water consumption, because my word for the year last year was to optimize. I wanted to optimize just things within my life. And that was one of it. I had seven areas to optimize in. So I was measuring everything every single day on an Excel spreadsheet. For those of you that know me, that is not me. I'm not an Excel spreadsheet type of person. We go with the flow. But the point is, I drank over 650 liters of water, didn't drink any juice, any milk, none of those things. Then this year I thought, let me just continue. So I continued. And in January, middle of January, we played some paddle and I forgot my water bottle there, left, went home. And then the friend said, listen, your water bottle was left here. I said, that's fine. Just bring it to me on Sunday. And for 4 days, I didn't have my water bottle. And for 4 days, I didn't drink 500 mils of water. Not because of anything. And I realized this is that although I did it for 365 days, every single day, the moment when, though leaning in, The moment that strategy was removed, it showed me how quickly I went back to not doing the thing that seemed so simple. And I realized that many people are missing out on an extraordinary life simply because they think that, oh, but things are hard, so I can't do it. No, there's a hack that you can use. You can lean in, you can have a strategy. Just set those things up in advance. Not everybody that's doing great things are doing it every day because they're just amazing. No, they purposely put these things in front of them to remind them, to help them, to adjust them. Why do rock stars and superstars and celebrities have a chef and personal trainer and all of that? You got all the money, you can buy the right food. No, somebody just needs to make it because it's still convenient. It helps you focus on the things you need to focus on. So lean in, do the things that you don't want to do, set it up in advance for yourself. And I promise you, you'll start building a formidable mindset very quickly.
Absolutely. What a bombshell to end this episode on. To amplify with purpose. And the way that you amplify with purpose is with strategies, knowing what doesn't work and then finding ways to hack it. So if you want to learn more about creating a formidable mindset, if you want to find out more strategies, interesting insights, then we'd love to invite you to the Business with Altitude Summit, which is taking place this September. It'll be virtual. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can join us. Registration pages are ready. The link is in the description. There is an early bird discount, and I apologize, I cannot remember what the discount is, but there is an early bird discount which applies on checkout until the end of April. So we'd love to see you there. Christo, do you have any parting thoughts?
Yes, I do. First of all, you have to sign up for the early bird. See us. We want to see you this year at the Business with Altitude Summit. It's going to be incredible. So many extra things we want to share with you. So please don't miss out. And then, lastly, one of my friends are very good with systems, just computer systems and tracking growth within a company. And so I was speaking to her and I was saying to her, talk to me about systems because I want to build a belief system. I know you're big on computer systems, but just talk to me about belief system or systems. And this is what they said is that, how do you learn a system? Was the question I asked them. How do you learn a system? And this was the reply. Brilliant. They said, if there is an output within a system, track the origin. There's an output in the system, track the origin. And when they said that, I'm like, I'm taking that for myself in building a belief system. So if there's an output, if there's something that I like or I don't like, go and track, where did that start? And so the moment you can trace where it starts, you can reverse that and you can then change the output towards something better. Or if you like the output and you've traced it, you cannot duplicate it. Thank you for today.
That is
Really
so good. Love it. Guys, we hope to see you in our next session where we will continue this conversation on building a formidable mindset. And just once again, we'd love to see you at the Business with Altitude Summit. If you have any questions or comment, leave us a comment. We'd be happy to chat to you or leave a review. We'd love to hear what you think about this really awesome topic, which might I say was fantastic today. Thank you so much, Christo. And to all of you, have a fabulous day. Remember to amplify with purpose. See you soon.